to Centurions Corner, and today is another hangout for a Friday night. So if you watch the Fwoosh, this is my kind of interpretation of it in a slight way. He does play dates where he does his customs and other parts here. So for me, it's kind of like where I've gone out and actually purchased older figures. Some of them are second hand, some of them I've done customs, I've done other bits for the Diorama and parts like that. So it's a bit of just a little catch up where I've been and what I've been doing, rather than just doing reviews and other stuff. So we just cram it all into one video. So these are figures that I have picked up this week, and what I'll do a quick 5-minute review as we go through the actual video as well. And I will show you a couple of other little things that I have been adding to the diorama. So don't worry, the creation or how to make it is to come still. There's still more reviews to come, but this is our Friday hangout where I can just literally say I bought a figure that's probably about 4 years old, and this is what I think of it. So just stay tuned and let's crack on with the first one. So this week I picked up Zombie Captain America. It was kind of one of those that's always took a bit of a back burner, and I decided, really, do I really want this guy? The reason why it put me off is because he was just on his own. There was no other zombies to go with him whatsoever. And lo and behold, obviously we've got the Iron Man release coming out and Scarlet Witch as well. And so with that, I'll go out and buy this guy. I actually picked him up from In Demand Toys. It's the only place I could find him in the UK. Still full price, only like £21.99, which is still good for a full price figure. And actually, I can't believe that I put it off. He is fantastic, absolutely phenomenal, and it's just a really good looking figure. Whatever kind of pose you put him in, he just looks like a zombie Captain America. And I know it's like the look, but it's actually the hands, the way he limps over and stuff like that. It's brilliant. So he comes with one accessory here, and that's basically a blood-stained steel shield that it does have, although it's a bit purpley in certain places. Kind of grey, or the silver's kind of not as bright as it should be, but I guess it's supposed to be all weathered and whatnot. And on the back, we've actually got some nice little looking straps on here, which is pretty cool. Looking at the actual figure itself, articulation-wise, it's pretty cool. So he's got a left, he's got a right, he's got a look down and a look up as well. All the way rotation around here, up, bicep swivel, double elbow, rotation and a hinge. And then he's got waist swivel here, like on the diaphragm, nice like a ball joint, and then he's also got rotation here at the waist. Leg wise, come up this far, forward, back, upper thigh rotation. We've got a nice double knee joint here, and on this one we actually got a boot cut, but on this side, because he's got his leg, we haven't got anything there. It's all kind of welded in. But the actual, you know, looking at the guy, the actual kind of sculpt of it is brilliant. It's fantastic. Even this part here is a second part that actually fits over the face, so you can lift it up. So it's actually got a nice bit of 3D parts in there. These bits that are hanging off, just the actual rips and tears and stuff inside there. They have actually gone to town with it. Got all that kind of sort of like dirt stained on here. The arm being a bit blood splattered and other bits all tatty, and actually just hanging off as well, not part of the actual sculpt. It's just literally hanging off, making it look really shredded and stuff as well. So down on his legs as well, nice bones and other parts on there. You can actually see right through on some of the parts, which is pretty cool. It's great, and it's all good for Halloween as well. It's all coming out soon and stuff like that. So if you did get put off, obviously go out and buy it, because you know you've got Iron Man and all that now, so he's not going to be the only zombie on the shelf. It is a fantastic figure, and I don't know why I held off. The purchase I made this week, this was actually second hand. Probably paid a reasonable price for it, to be honest, and it actually come with little Peter Porker as well, which is from the Spider-Man Noir figure on there. So it's quite nice to have this one on the shelf. Obviously I've got a Spider-Man shelf, and I haven't picked up Spider-Man Noir. Not sure why, but I don't really particularly I don't know why I'm putting it off. It's a Spider-Man, it's part of his sort of Spider-Verse. I probably will pick it up at a later date. So yeah, good sculpt on there, looks pretty cool, with the spider on there, and you've got all the webbing and stuff. So yeah, it's pretty cool to have just on the shelf. But the main reason I got it, he chucked it in there for free. So yeah, I got this one for second hand. I think it's about 2 or 3 years old, maybe a little bit more than that. But it's Doppelganger, really from the Maximum Carnage storyline and stuff on there. But for me, it's just another kind of Doppelganger Spider-Man, which is absolutely fantastic. And yeah, it's a really nice figure, to be honest. I thought at first, I was like, it might be alright. I might resent it when it actually arrives, but no, it is really, really cool. So we go quickly through his articulation on here. Obviously he's got plenty, having lots and lots of legs. So with his head wise, he can turn left, right, he can look down this far, he can look back all the way up this far, which is really, really cool. We have got a rotation here at the arm, and it's on the hinge that comes up this far. This one rotates as well all the way around, and it's also on a shoulder joint, and the same again on his waist one here. Unfortunately, it hasn't got no sort of diaphragm movement. This is all one piece, and I guess they've done that because obviously the weight of the arms and stuff on where these are, it would actually probably tend to break, or it won't be strong enough. All the arms have upper arm rotation. They all have a double elbow joint as well, and they all have a rotation at the wrist and on a hinge. Some of the hands are fisted, and then obviously we've got open clawed hands, and there's 2 fists on this side and 1 claw on this side. Leg wise, it can come up this far, he can kick forward, he can go back, he's got upper thigh rotation, and they can come up this wide apart as well. We've got a double knee joint here as well, and we've got the rotation at the boot, and also we've got the rocker and the pivot at the ankle. So yeah, all in all, got loads of articulation. You can put him in so many cool poses, especially with this head coming up. You can get him in really nice crawling poses. I actually took a really nice picture in the week, chucked it on my Instagram, but I'll put it up here as well. Really nice, really good looking figure, and I'm glad I actually picked him up. So yeah, got his very cool looking teeth there. There's no articulation in that jaw, unfortunately, but you got the eyes, which are looking like those fly lenses, which is pretty cool. The actual body itself, I think it's actually from the 6th Spider-Man, which I don't have, but it's what I read up on there. It's quite kind of dark, especially on the red and the blue, but it grew on me as I was playing with the figure, to be honest. It is pretty cool, and especially with all this texture down there in the actual legs and stuff. And then at his feet we have these sort of like spider fly like claws, which is pretty cool, and then obviously his hands as well. So yeah, really good figure in all, really good for that Spider-Man shelf, and I'm really glad that I did pick him up as well. Haven't made a dud purchase. So another figure that I picked up this week was Psychoman. I picked him up as secondhand for £7 on a Facebook group, and to be honest, he was off my radar. I just never ever picked him up. I just don't even know who Psychoman is, to be honest with you. And I watched a couple of reviews online, and I just it was the price point for £7 for a Marvel Legends figure. You know, I just kind of I just bit the bullet. I don't know why, but yeah, he's pretty cool, to be honest. The reason why I did actually pick him up is because the next figure I bought with it, and I just thought, well, if I'm paying one package, I might as well get 2 figures, to be honest with you. So yeah, he's actually turned out to be really cool, really nice sort of looking, really well sculpted figure, to be honest with you. So he comes with this weird kind of number pads on here. I don't even know much about Psychoman, to be honest, but I think you can control people or something like that. So we've got fear, doubt and hate on this little computer console on here. Really nice kind of sort of looking details and stuff on here, which is pretty cool. But you can hold it into his hand here, but it does fall out. You have to really kind of wedge it into his hand. But the figure itself, I really think it's pretty cool. So articulation wise, with the head, you think it looks really kind of jam-packed, so it's not going to move much. So with his head, you can turn left and right, go all the way around. It's all like on a ball joint sort of thing. You know, you can actually get him in really good sort of poses. You can make him look down really well as well. Arm wise, we've got full rotation around up here as well, which comes up, and the arm comes up this part as well. And this is the part I was quite impressed with. I would kind of just thought it was kind of like there was the seam here, but it's not. It's actually inside, so it actually looks like a pair of gloves that are put over. So the rotation's around on here, so as you can see, it moves. So it actually looks like he's got these big massive gloves on, which is pretty cool. His arm, it's got a double articulation here, but it only stops at 90 really, to be honest with you. Rotation at the wrist, and it's also on hinge. We've got the diaphragm sort of turned down here at his waist. He can look down this far, and you can look back this way, and this is so soft that it doesn't get in the way at all. Leg wise, up this way, forward, back, upper thigh rotation just inside that kind of cage there and stuff like that. But this isn't hard plastic, it's actually made of the same plastic as his little vinyl skirt, so it's all quite nimble and it doesn't get in the way. So when you actually do his articulation here, so he's got a double knee, and as you move it, this all gets pushed out of the way, because it's so soft, which is really cool. So he's not rigid as much as you would think he is. And he's got rotation, or he's got the rocker and the pivot at the ankle, and he's really nice and big and bulky, so you can just put him in any pose and he stands there. It looks really menacing, to be honest. It looks pretty cool. So with his face, that's probably the main detail here, is his goldness on here. Really nice sculpt. Looking down, all this green sort of swirly plastic and stuff, and the white all over the figure. Pretty cool, nice sculpt, and for £7, bit of a steal in my opinion, to be honest with you. So if you do find him for a bit cheaper on eBay, pick him up. So another figure that I picked up, and this one was when I bought Psychoman. I actually picked this one up for £12, and I just thought, oh, you know, sort of like near enough £20 for 2 figures. You can't go wrong. And she comes with all accessories as well. So another one really that I'm not really too fussed about. She weren't really on my radar, to be honest. But my reasons for being is because obviously Ironheart is coming to the MCU, and I know I love my Marvel, and once I start getting to know that character, I'll be like, I want them on my shelf. And obviously I like my comic versions rather than the MCU versions. So my reasons for being, if I don't pick her up now, later on she'll get a little bit more sort of screen time, and then people want this figure. So I thought I'd just pick her up for cheap, pick her up for second hand, and you can't go wrong. So yeah, she's a great figure, great accessories as well. She actually comes with the head sculpt as well, looking really nice there, really cool. I love the hair where it just hangs over. It's a really good piece there, just really nicely done as well. Great condition, the figure is fantastic. So she comes with extra hands as well. One is a kind of proton blast hand. We've got that kind of little heart shape on the top there, and we're shooting out her hand there. I'm not too sure about these kind of heart things. I know she's Ironheart, but it kind of might be a bit weird. It's a bit like Care Bears, isn't it? I just hope it don't shoot heart-shaped beams as well. And then we've got a punching fist, and then she's got the other alternatives actually on her hand as well. So she comes with a little proton blast as well. Same ones that we do actually get with Iron Man and all the other types as well. You can actually take off these parts as well if you want to. So they are separate. But you can just wedge that into her hand. So she looks like she's shooting it off. And then obviously down here, you can wedge these into her shoe holes. So she looks like she's blasting off at the same time as well. Articulation on the figure as well is pretty cool, which is mainly for most female figures actually. So the head, she can turn left, she can turn right, she can look down this far, and she can look up not so much, so she can't get a good sort of flying pose unfortunately. But the arms, fully rotation around up here, comes up this far, bicep swivel, we've got a double elbow that comes right up, rotation at the wrist, and it's also on a hinge. Waist or swivel up the chest as most of the females, not much down, but back you can get out quite far, so you can do a nice kind of sort of like swooping pose in a flying stance. Leg wise, come up this way, forward, back, upper thigh rotation. We have a double knee as well that comes up right up this way, and then we've got a rocker and a pivot at the ankle, and she's made in a really nice smooth red texture. Really like the red on this one, and the gold as well. It goes well with my Iron Man and also the Iron Spider. So yeah, really good figure. I'm really glad that I've actually got both of those as a pack on this bit, and you know, for £20 you really can't go wrong. So really make sure that you check these kind of second-hand market, to be honest with you. There's quite a few good bargains out there. So the last figure I picked up this week was a classic Wolverine. This is a bit of a kit bash put together, to be honest with you. So it was under £20 that I picked up this guy. Again, a second-hand market, but it's a kit bash being put together by someone else and not me. So the last Wolverine that I have, the only one that I have on the shelf, is this one. And I thought, really, he will kind of do for me. I painted up his extra straps, made them a little bit different brown, painted up his claws to silver, and obviously done the same again on his boots, giving it a little bit of diverse brown down there. But I am a sucker for the 90s X-Men, and I really want to get the X-Men. With the new cell shaded ones coming out, I'm just a little bit bummed that they're cell shaded. I don't really want to go there, so I'm kind of scouring around on the second-hand market to see what I can find. And yeah, I picked up this guy. So the kit bash with this guy, so apparently he's the Wolverine from the 2-pack with the Incredible Hulk, which is like the first appearance body, and the head and the other accessories are from the Love Triangle pack, which is with Cyclops and Jean Grey. And then also on top of that, they've actually taken the claws off, and it's actually got mezco claws here, which are actually bits of metal, which is fantastic. Really nice kit bash put together on here. So yeah, really, with the accessories, we actually got a Wolverine that's kind of a little bit beaten up here. It's been like sort of like in the middle of a fight, his hair's coming through. We've got claw marks and scratch marks and all this kind of sort of like damage to his cowl here. And yeah, really nice looking, really sort of angry face. What I call a proper classic Wolverine. The other accessories that it comes with, so this bit here that goes over his neck is like a cowl, so it's hanging down over the back of it. And then obviously his head will go on top like he's pulled it back. Not kind of my classic Wolverine. I think for me his hair just needs to be a little bit longer on the sides up here, but again it's kind of like he's already had his hat on and he's just pulled that back. It's not had time to grease his hair up and put it back in its style. So yeah, it's quite nice to have a civilian, I get my words out, a civilian looking head for Wolverine, so he can go with my Steve Rogers, my Peter Parker and stuff like that. I do like having that kind of sort of option there, which is pretty cool. Hair on the back, pretty nice. And then he comes with a 2 fists that with his claws that have been sort of sheathed in there, so you got the extra little metal marks on the top there with his clenched fists. But the figure in total, wow, really cool. Head wise, he can do his rotation around up here. Obviously he can bend his neck right down, and then he can, well, you have to push it back a little bit. It does come off quite easy, maybe because it's not the original head, but you can really bring it up there so you can get a really good sort of running angry face as he's coming right at you. These bits here can actually sort of move so it get out of the way of any kind of sort of like a hinderment for his arms, but it's actually got a nice butterfly joint in here which comes into play when you actually move his arms sort of up and around, and they come right across, so you can get a nice slashing mark in there. Again, his arms can come up as well, only up to about that place. We've got rotation up his upper bicep, nice double elbow here that only comes up to about 90 because he's got these massive muscles. Rotation at the wrist, and it's also on a hinge. Waist, he's got the swivel here at his belt, and then he's got the hinge as well up his waist, so you get a really nice kind of clawing down motion in those ways. And his legs, he can come up this way, forward, back, up and thigh rotation. We have got a double knee here as well, and then we got the rocker and the pivot at the ankle, and also we have a boot swivel, which is pretty cool. He's a little bit wibbly wobbly down at his legs down here. Sometimes he can't really hold his pose. Like if you want to do a run foot, he does feel like he's going to tilt a little bit. He's a little bit too soft down here, but that's what we do when we pick up secondhand. You're going to get those kind of parts on there, but he's still in good condition. His face and the paint and all that is really cool. So really glad I picked this guy up, and it's the start of my X-Men shelf. And now I need a decent Cyclops, a Jean Grey, Storm, and the list goes on. So also what I've been doing this week is actually just playing about a little bit. I thought I'd do a little bit more to my diorama. I just want to practice a little bit before I actually bring like anything tutorial, any kind of tips I can pick up. So I've been scouring the internet, been looking on YouTube, just looking at sort of different things, what works, what doesn't work, and then I can actually bring a tutorial or what I've been doing along the way. But first of all, I actually want to say about this. I picked this up at The Works. It's a shop in the UK. It's kind of like a bit of a stationery store, does a few books and stuff, and a bit of arts and crafts. And they actually sell these little coffins. I know it sounds a bit morbid, but it's actually half price. So it's actually £1 for these little coffin. I actually picked up a couple because I thought Halloween's coming up, can make a little bit of fun. And it opens up as well, which is pretty cool. It's not exactly 6-inch sort of scale. Let's just move that out of the way for a little bit. But let's bring Peter Parker in here. I've already sort of put him into a pose, but it fits. It doesn't. It's not too bad. I mean, the guy's gonna stick out a little bit, so might have to cut his legs off and whatnot. But it's kind of a nice diorama piece here. If we actually just make it all look a bit nice and paint it up, it'd be pretty cool for Halloween, because you can always have these guys kind of just climbing out of the side. So always on the sort of scour around, looking around for different things that we can use, especially for pictures and for Instagram. So if I do find anything like this that will work for anything like that, I will let you know. So stay tuned. We'll put a little bit of a paint up later down the line. Especially stay tuned to the Instagram as well, which I'll be displaying them. So yeah, the diorama so far, what have I done? So I have printed off a newspaper here. It's just a bit on A4 paper, and I just cut it out and actually just sort of shrank it down on paint and just literally printed it off. So it's pretty cool. It's actually better than a sort of a bit of plastic that Jonah James sort of has, I think, in my opinion. It's pretty cool, and it's just a nice size for these guys. So I've actually done a base now for the bottom. I haven't gone off and done any kind of paint work on it. I haven't put any kind of like stop signs and stuff, because to me it's a little alleyway. It'd just be a bit of concrete and that's it, because it's only going to be like a A4 square kind of diorama. It's only what I'm going for at the moment, so it's kind of a bit like this, and I will do this wall here. That's the one I will bring to you when I start to do it. But I just wanted to do a little display piece just from the start kind of thing. Just want to test it out, and my whole reasons why is I'm going to do like a modular system. So if I want a wall in that kind of length, that's brilliant, you know, and then I could do different sort of square bases and put them together or put them around in that way. So I'm not restricted for space for a giant thing. I can just pack these up just like so, chuck them in the drawer, and then make away with it with different dioramas and change it around so it's not always the same street. So what have I done here? So with this one I actually cut off right across there, so it's actually just like just a nice square on here. So with the other parts I kind of what I cut off, I just see the line here, just cut that off in there, painted it grey, done the actual squares in there. Kind of get my words out, I'm trying to think what it is. It's like literally in front of me, it's a square breeze block that I've made. It doesn't matter if it cracks or anything like that, because it's supposed to be sort of damaged and whatnot. So I made a couple of these with that as well, cut them down a little bit and actually made bricks, so you actually got something for the guys to throw and stuff. So it's just the same sponge that I just painted completely red, and then you can just like fill them around on top of the actual scenery if you want them smashing out and stuff like that, which is fine. That's another little breeze block. So I did actually do a little bit of buggery on here, but it doesn't really matter. It doesn't matter at all. And the other parts that I have done, so I'll quickly look at this one. So I haven't picked up the Legends Hulk. I actually just went off and made my own, which is 2 layers of cardboard on here stuck together, and then I just painted some green splashes out of there, so it actually comes into play. I actually just put it on tonight's Instagram, one that I have done with Panicking Anakin. We've done a collaboration of She-Hulk, and yeah, it's come out quite well, to be honest. And wasn't She-Hulk good? Absolutely loved it. I thought it was fantastic. It's one I've been waiting for all this time. Anyway, going on to these parts. So these are actually baking trays that I've turned into bins. Again, it's another tutorial that I've seen on YouTube. I'll try it out. There is another tutorial for a bin. I'm going to see which one looks the best, but I think this one is, because the other one is paint and the other one silver. Straight through, it's all the way, but just putting the details in there. We've got the little kind of wired handles and stuff on the side as well, so it's pretty cool. This one I did bugger up. You can actually see it's actually a bit smaller than this one, so all I've done was just push it down. So we've actually got a battle damaged one, so it looks like it's been crushed or smashed or punched, so it doesn't really matter in the size difference on that. And then just for the base, it was just literally just putting loads of cracks and smashes in it, just to make it kind of look a bit realistic in there. Done a few sort of smashes and cracks, and then the bits that I had all taken off, I just kind of glued in there, so we actually got some stones and stuff on that part. So yeah, all coming together quite well, quite nicely, and I'm quite happy how it's coming. So that's it for this week's Hangout. Thank you so much for joining me on this one. Don't forget, you can follow me on Instagram, subscribe, and ding that bell, because only 20% of you are subscribed that watch my channel. So please, please, please hit that bell and smash that thumbs up. It really helps out the channel. It really gets the content out there. I'm really much appreciated of it. So once again, thank you, and I'll see you again soon. Bye!